Nick, I wanted to get your thoughts on how different this year has been for the secondary than last year. It seemed last year every week there'd be a new DB who was signed, and they would potentially even play that Sunday. Here you have a lot more depth and competition. What's the difference been for you?
Difference is just, I think for me coming into my second year, just the game kind of slowing down a lot. Not a lot, but a little bit for me. And just in training camp, we've had the same guys out here, all competitive, all willing to work, all trying to give their hardest. So it's just been a real competitive camp this year, for sure.
Travis?
Hey, Nick. Coach talked a little bit last year about recognizing some talent in you pretty early on during camp, but mentioned some things you had to work on to get off the practice squad. Then you get called up and have that immediate impact right away. I'm curious, what are some of those things that you worked on? And is there anything in particular this offseason you worked on the same way?
Well, this offseason, last offseason, the same things. Just getting in shape. Last year I came into camp at 205, like I said last year, and just I wasn't able to run at my full potential and finish like a whole practice through that heat. So definitely this offseason that just came up right now, I was more focused on that and didn't want to let that happen again. So I came in and had like one of my best overall body composition. So I was good body weight and body fat. So that's what I was focused on, just eating right and really taking it more professionally.
Cam?
Hey, Nick, we heard a little bit about, I guess, the emphasis on turnovers and getting the hands on the ball, and they told us a little bit about the point system. Can you kind of take us behind, the scenes on the point system and how things are going in that realm for the DBs? Yeah,
so we get points for scoops. Doesn't matter if it's an incomplete pass or not. He wants everybody focused on getting to the ball, get to the ball, get to the ball. So any ball on the ground, he wants to scoop. And interceptions, obviously, that's the biggest key to change the game. So we do like a little push-up contest, and then at the end of the year, we got another contest. It's the Hood versus the Birds, but that's the team of the name. So it's all about getting to the ball, though. It's all mainly focused on getting to the ball, stripping out the ball, trying to force as many turnovers as we can, because in the end, that'll help us win a lot of games.
Josh?
Hey, Nick, we talked to Noah the other day, and he mentioned you by name and a couple other guys. What's it been like working with him and just being in the same, secondary with him?
No, it's been cool. It's crazy that he's only 20 years old. Dude's physically gifted for sure. 205, run 4.3. So I'm in awe of him as well. I'm like, damn, like that's crazy. But no, he's a great player, physical, always willing to learn, and a great teammate to have for sure.
Adam?
Before I get to my question, I want to ask what your weight is now. If you said you've slimmed down, what is it now?
193.
Okay. And it seems that Flo is pretty pushing buttons. Do you remember an instance last year where he may have kind of played some games with you and it helped you become a better player?
Nah, it was just they had I failed my first conditioning test, which was very embarrassing for me because I was one of the only ones, and that was just being out of shape. So it was like a little team joke. Everybody's calling me like fat and stuff. So I was just, in my mind, I was like, I could never have that again. So I was just always pushing my hardest to never be that guy again. Like I can't be the only one like that. And I was talking about like I got a gut at DB and stuff. So used to make little jokes like that. So I was like, never again. I can't have that happen. So I set my mind to it. Spinach. Yeah.
I want to ask you about Byron Jones, but before I do that, since we're getting all these statistics, I know Igbenogany probably has like the most ridiculous body mass index ever. You mentioned BMI. What are the numbers for you? Like, where did they go from where to where?
I think I was 193 and 7.3% body fat. But like that's what I'm saying. That's my ideal and best one I could be at. Because last year I was like 205, 10 or like 11% body fat. So it's just maintaining that and keeping that, and I felt it on the field as well. It's definitely paid off.
The Byron Jones question. Obviously, he's got a lot of years of experience. What, if anything, has he said, or what have you observed? It's kind of helpful.
Just how he approaches everything, like practice, meetings, anything he does, he treats it just like the same thing, and he just attacks it. He's very focused. He's very, very focused, and he's very intellectual. So he gives me a bunch of tips smart tips that I can use on the field. And just from his experience and being out there, we play like 59 games, like that's a lot of experience out there. So anything on film he sees, he'll give me little tips on how he played something in the game or some of that nature. So I'll just use that all in my toolbox.
Omar?
Nick, last year you started a good amount of games. What do you learn from that, and did it humble you a little bit to begin this camp as a backup?
Yeah, no, I mean, we're all just working out there, but it's just I just always came in and just work, you know what I'm saying, work my hardest, and whatever coach tells me to do, I'm gonna do that. So just try to do it to the best of my ability. I'm not really worried about positions or anything like that. Wherever they need me, I'm willing to go and give it my all.
Hal?
Hi, Nick. Regarding the change in weight that you were talking about earlier, did that include a major change in diet? Is there something you gave up that you really miss?
Well, yeah, like I said last year, just not as much fast food and really locking in. I didn't think that eating a bunch of nonsense really affected me like that. And I'd watch guys like Chad Ochocinco, who said he eats McDonald's before every practice. So I'm like, oh, yeah, see, it doesn't even matter. But to me, it definitely matters. I've heard there's only a couple people like that in the NFL that can do that. So definitely learned it didn't work for me. So I had to figure that out the hard way.
All right, we've got time for 2 more. We'll go to Cam.
Hey, Nick, just kind of following up what we were talking about with the point system, if I could ask a two-parter on that. One, what's sort of the delineation for what you get point-wise for interception versus, hand on the ball versus PBU and all that stuff?
Well, yeah, picks is the most. I think it's 5 points for picks. For a scoop, if you get a scoop off a fumble, it's like 3 points, and then PBUs is 1 point. So obviously, you know what I'm saying, we're trying to get to the pick, but and also if you drop a pick, that's missed opportunity. That's minus, I think that's -5 as well. So, you know what I'm saying, we're holding everybody accountable. If the ball touches your hands, you need to make a play on it.
Okay, and then I guess you said the teams, the hood versus the burbs. How did that come about, and which team are you on?
That was Coach GA. He brought that here. He just had 2 team captains. It was Byron and Bobby. Byron's team of the captain of the Birds, and then Bobby's team captain of the Hood. So Bobby had drafted me, I think, in like the 5th round or something to the team. But yeah, that's how it went down.
Last one for Travis.
Hey, Nick, I'm curious to ask you about some of the competition you've seen, not just in the NFL in general, but this year in training camp. Coming out of UTEP, obviously not going to find Devontae Parkers and Preston Williams down there. What have you learned from those guys, but also your experience last year going up against some of the league's best as you played so many snaps at cornerback last season?
I've definitely learned, from Devontae and Preston, that you can be draped all over them. Quarterback's still going to trust them to make a play on the ball. He's going to throw it up there to only where they can reach it. So you got to be good at playing the hands, and sometimes you may not even be able to look back because you don't know exactly where that ball is going to be placed because they have such a long reach and extension. That's also what I learned in the NFL. Just because you're all over a guy doesn't necessarily mean he's all the way covered. They're still NFL receivers too, so they can make plays on the ball no matter what.